Imagine you were Gorgon, Lord High Commander of the Imperial Forces of New Atalan, trusted cousin of the King. Imagine you'd just won a war you had been certain was lost. Now imagine that just after you've saved the city, you were told to sink it. What would you do?
Gorgon, the humans are within minutes of our border. If you do not act now...
I know, Karnak. I must have more time.
We have no time, brother. The order has been given. My senses tell me the junction of fault lines under Atlantis is here. You must strike now, or Atalan will be lost to the humans.
Imagine you were a soldier given an order by your king so indecipherable and hazardous that you could not help but question it. An order that, on the face of it, could as easily bring about the extinction of your people as save them. What would you do? If you were a good soldier, you'd do as you were told.
They're retreating into the city, Commander Stelienko! All of them! I don't understand it. After all the effort they've put up to defend their home against us, why stop now?
There's nothing to understand here, Zeno. The creatures have run out of their antidote to the effects of our atmosphere, just as Maximus said they would. Now, we merely walk across to the city and... Did you hear something?
Look out! You idiot, Stelienko! We were warned! Maximus told us what would happen if we allowed heavy artillery too close to the fault line! We triggered an earthquake!
Imagine you were Medusa, queen of a fabulous city-state. Imagine your husband had asked that you allow yourself to be brutalized and disfigured. That your hair, the source of your power, be shorn from your head in order to help protect the people of Atalan against a human plague. How would you feel?
Prince Namor.
My Lady Medusa, Lord Triton. I fear that time is no longer with us. It would appear events have been set in motion that cannot be reversed. Thusly, I bring a message to your king. Tell him this, Medusa of Atalan. I, Namor, Prince of Atlantis, owe to him and all peoples of Atalan a debt which can never be repaid.
My lady, dire affairs approaching. We must to the city go...
Hold fast, Triton. I beg you. You must understand why I acted with such enmity towards you. You were led to believe that you were sent to petition my aid. But Black Bolt's message was a ruse designed to give an illusion of desperation. In truth, Black Bolt offered the return of Atlantis in exchange for my non-interference in your conflict. I was to feign anger and deny his request. The message explicitly stated that I was to inform no one, not even you, old friend, of the deception. Your king required my absolute cooperation, or he ran the risk of his plan being discovered. Believe me, the choice in this was not mine. Now, you both must go, and with my undying thanks. I fear there are matters of Atalan to attend to.
Reports coming in that the island just south of the Azores has been hit by a devastating series of earthquakes. Our reporter covering the ongoing conflict on the island, David Jarvis.
As you can see, these tremors started to happen about an hour ago. Seeing terrible scenes of devastation.
Sasso scientists are pessimistic, with all signs pointing to an increase in the intensity of the quakes, which suggests that the worst is yet to come.
Tanasha, we've been ordered back into the city! But why? I don't understand, Effie! It's over. What else is there to understand?
All men accounted for, sir! Where's Commander Stelienko?
Imagine you had the whole world in your grasp. And lost it. What if you were Crystal, sister to the Queen, with the 4 elements at your command? What if you had the power to elevate an entire city on a bed of stone? How long do you think you could keep it up?
Central Terminal reports everyone's inside, my Lord Gorgon.
You have done well, as ever, Major. Your resolute efficiency will be recognized, I assure you of that. Assuming we survive.
Majesty, I await your order.
Imagine you were just a dog. How would you understand that the entire grid of computerized city functions had been rerouted into your neural network? That an energy field had been created, powerful enough to teleport the entire place upon reactivation of the city's protective dome? So that Atalan itself might hitch a ride on your next journey through negative space, just as soon as your flight reflex kicked in. If you were a dog, Why would you care?
Majesty, please, your order.
The dome! It's reforming!
Flags across the world fly at half-mast today, as news comes in of the devastating loss of an entire nation. At roughly 4 p.m. local time, the island of Atlantis returned to its former location, some 2 miles below the turbulent waves of the Atlantic Ocean. So tell us, Mr. Bixby, how do we proceed? Firstly, we officially deny any knowledge of contact between this bureau and the late, lamented Commander Stelienko. As far as Yarzino knows, his men were funded by Lexington Mining to protect their vibranium interests in the region. Lexington has been given immunity and paid off. To all intents and purposes, ladies and gentlemen, Adelan and all her secrets are lost to us. Forever.
Imagine you were the silent king of a marvelous city called Adelan. Imagine that your voice was so resonant, so innately powerful, that your merest whisper could level mountains. Imagine you were given one chance to explain what you had done. What would you say? How would you tell your subjects that it was necessary to lead them to the brink of annihilation in order to liberate them? What would you say to those unfortunate creatures relegated to the darkwood end of Adelan about the importance of illusion? Or to the alpha primitives, who despite their emancipation are genetically predisposed to remaining in the substructure at the call of the great engines? What would you say to those who died in the execution of your wonderful plan? Would they agree to the price you were willing to pay? What of those who have been summarily forced to cast away any recent memory of their childhood? Or the boy called Dawaz, a pawn in a high-stakes game of inhuman chess? Was his freedom worth the price of his soul?
I was thinking, maybe when I get well, maybe we could all go out to the park and scare up some of the new kids. Maybe we could all go together.
Imagine you had the power to decide the fate of a species. That would be real power. Would you want it? Would your near godlike status give you the right to be vengeful towards those who had committed crimes against you? Could you temper your punishment with mercy? Imagine your destiny irrevocably linked to a brother you both love and despise. Imagine that you could tell humanity the truth, that you had to give them the illusion they were winning so that they believed they had destroyed you and never come looking for your city again. What do you say to your cousin Gorgon? Will he ever understand that ultimately it was not the salvation of his pride that counted, so much as the salvation of an entire species? Will he ever trust you again? For that matter, will Triton or Crystal? How does she really feel that you took such a chance with the safety of her child? And what can you say to your wife Medusa? Will she ever truly understand the intensity of the feelings you have for her, while at the same time understanding why the weight of your responsibilities forces you to remain alone? Imagine that you had all these lives in your hands, that you could save a family by sacrificing a child, but that you had to explain it to the child. What would you say?